The other big story tonight, Caitlin Clark left tonight's game. The Fever held on to beat the Sun late. No, I should have held on. It pulled away to beat the Sun late. It was a close game throughout. Caitlin Clark, another game where she had trouble hitting threes. I believe she's at 1-3 on the road in her last 7 games.
It's been a struggle. It was 3 games of terrible shooting before her injury and missing 5 games, and since she's been back. Assists total is high, moving the ball well, but her shot has just absolutely been broken.
Telling you, after I said everything was going to be great, watch this middle finger revenge tour for Caitlin Clark. She can't hit a shot.
No, it's all your fault.
I'm the best defender the WNBA's ever seen.
And then we joked about it that night that there would be talk of, hey, the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark. What happened?
Yeah,
Ta-da!
Yeah. Carolyn Peck. Hey, she was the one that said it first. When I said, watch the hot take, the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark. And Carolyn Peck said it. Yay!
Thanks for listening.
Yay!
And there it was.
But here's the deal now with what we just saw. Caitlin Clark makes a backdoor pass for a hoop that gives the Fever a 9-point lead, and then she runs down the court, and you can see she puts her right hand kind of over where her groin is, which is what you see athletes do when they pull that. They put, oh, wow, I feel something there. Now, here's the thing. Okay, yeah, Caitlin Clark's already been out with 2 injuries this year, a quad injury, groin injury, and before you say that, hey, she re-aggravated her groin injury, the groin injury that kept her out was her left groin. Now, we don't know because Stephanie White, head coach of the Fever, hasn't said anything, and right now we're wondering, is Caitlin Clark going to play in the next game? Can she be in any of the All-Star festivities this weekend? Can she be in the three-point shootout? Can she be in the game itself? It's a really big question now. But the thing is, when she came off, she had her right hand over her right groin. Now it could be your left groin still. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just sitting here saying, hey, if you hurt yourself on whatever side of the body you hurt your body on, if you're going to touch it with your hand, you're going to put your hand there, that's going to be the side you use. So the fact she used her right hand seemed like it was over her right groin. You wonder if now she's back from the left groin, and now there's a right groin injury that she's really going through.
Overcompensated, now you leave the court. I mean, not unprecedented and just terrible for the WNBA as you have the huge spectacle that this All-Star weekend was going to be, the announcement of participation in the three-point shootout, right? Much heralded, much anticipated, and her return to the court. They continue to win, even with her not shooting well at all. Steve gave us the numbers in terms of percentages. This is awful if this becomes a long-standing issue, because third injury, missed 5 games, just back, just starting to get the legs underneath her, and then leaves at the end of this victory. So for the WNBA, timing couldn't be worse.
Now, there's reports here out that Colin Clark, her brother, alludes to reffing playing a role in her injury, right? That the reffing the game is put a role in it. So, okay. Now, it's been deleted, but it was up. Now, let me just say this. Right? Obviously, we're waiting for Caitlin Clark to find out how she is. And, the funny thing is I plan to talk about this tonight at some point, her coming off the game. And remember on Sunday, there was a lot of physicality in the Fever's win and a very big bit of viral from Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Rucco doing the Fever game on Sunday, showing you just one possession where Caitlin Clark is hit a couple of times, and Rebecca Lobo saying, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul. Finally, they call it when she gets to the hoop, right? Like they're not calling the fouls on Caitlin Clark. And when you hear that part of it is, this is just Caitlin Clark apologists not getting their way because she's not hitting shots, and all of a sudden Caitlin Clark, they're making excuses for her. The thing is, you watch these games, right? And we watch more WNBA than I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You watch these games and you can see where Caitlin Clark gets bodied, gets physical, and doesn't get the calls. Now, generally in sports, you get the superstar calls, but she's not getting them. And I don't know how much this is a hot take as much as now I think there's a lot of evidence going back to last year when things aren't called, like Kennedy Carter running into her from behind and knocking her down and the referee just saying it's a common foul. We're not seeing that. There's been a lot of instances of Caitlin Clark getting physical and no fouls being called. Okay.
Right.
Now, It's funny because, I listened to Doug Gottlieb talk about this a couple weeks ago and say, listen, women's basketball is really difficult to be officiated for a bunch of different reasons. And it was great points on it going. Look, obviously, Doug, D1 coach, basketball his whole life. But I think that's more if we've gone past that, because I will tell you this. The officials know what they're calling and what they're not. They know what to look for and what not. Caitlin Clark is a really big deal. And I wonder if they're not calling fouls on her on purpose. Now, I'm not saying that's why she got hurt. I mean, I'm not saying that. But I wonder, just watching these games, are they not calling fouls where she gets hit on purpose because the backlash and what could happen, the optics of, Caitlin Clark getting all these foul calls, getting superstar foul calls, what that would do to the WNBA conversation and attention to the game. Because you already see what it's like, where there's so many haters for Caitlin Clark out there. The players don't like her. Some of the coaches don't like her because they're jealous of what she does and the attention she's brought to the game. Can you imagine what would happen if they put her on the free throw line as much as they did? If they gave her all these calls where, hey, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul, the blowback on it would be insane, right? There is a very fragile situation right now with Caitlin Clark and her standing with the rest of the league where, hey, you want everybody to not hate her. You want to be able to not have storylines taken over by, is it racial? Is it Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese? We can't celebrate both of them. Why do we pit both of them against each other? One of the worst things we do. Hey, here's two women stars. Let's pit them against each other. No, we shouldn't be doing that. But it's a very fragile situation right now. And if all of a sudden she starts getting these calls where, they're physical, but they're kind of ticky-tack, or you could call them or not call them, what happens to the uproar over Caitlin Clark's treatment in the WNBA? Do things get worse? Does the daily discourse about the WNBA get better? Or does it get to a point where, look, here's Caitlin Clark, the big hero. She's getting all of these calls. It's ridiculous. And now you have even more of a divide with players in the WNBA. Because that's all I can come to is that there's plays where, boy, Caitlin Clark should have gone to the free throw line. Kelsey Plum, boy, this place should go to the free throw line. And you wonder if that's the case. She had one bit tonight where she was so mad at the referee, where she was yelling, come here, come here, come here. I'm going to call the league on you. She was so upset with how things are being refereed and how she had lost it a little bit during the game with a ref. I thought she was going to get thrown out if one of her teammates didn't pull her back. Like, you could tell it's getting to that point with Caitlin Clark and the referees. But I really wonder if that's the thing, is we're not calling that because the blowback on it could be even worse, which is not fair at all. And it shows you the WNBA still having trouble handling success. But Caitlin Clark, this is a thing now where, hey, her treatment by the referees, this is now front and center. And there's no other way, because the referees know what they're looking for. They know what they're looking for. They know what they're seeing. It's not like these are people that are brand new doing the games. They know now with Caitlin Clark and what's happening in these games. All right, there's a lot of scrutiny on this. And you see plays where that should be a foul call. And no, you can't call everyone. And I know that look, defenders are going to do that because they're going to have the philosophy of, well, okay, if you call me for a couple, but you got to at least blow the whistle a couple of times before you absolutely have to. Okay, well, she got to the basket and she put up a shot that should have went in and it didn't. We'll give her the foul. Sometimes it's a foul if she dribbles and gets bodied off the ball and it's a turnover. Sometimes that's a foul too, right? I know she didn't get to the rack and get a shot off, but sometimes that's got to be a foul. So I really wonder, I mean, if that's where we're at right now, that, yeah, there's things not being called on purpose in Caitlin Clark's behalf because of what the fallout could be.
Well, at the critical eye, go back to look at some of her turnovers that where she gets mugged, right, and bodied to where the ball just trickles. I mean, there was the big one the other day where she was complaining about not getting a foul call, and then she wanted the ball, gets the ball, and loses it. And they're like, yeah, she promptly committed a turnover. She got absolutely bodied.
Yeah.
And it's like you're looking for the foul call. And we talk about it with all sports, whether it's soccer games or basketball, all the way through, that you can call a foul, holding calls on every call in the NFL or college football, that you're trying to figure out where the line is in the sand. We watched earlier in this game, Tina Charles absolutely obliterate Aaliyah Boston, and it was called a common foul, right? The arm came up, took her to the ground, and there was a minute of, wow, is she really hurt? But it was ruled a common foul. So the WNBA having a lot of issues with the foul and officiating as a whole, right? On the macro level. And then you take it back into the Caitlin Clark. There are superstar calls, right? We talked a lot about Mizorowski making the All-Star game for Major League Baseball. Guess what? Star treatment. Happens in every walk of life, in every sport, all the way through. Different treatment for different players. Mizorowski was a story. So after a bunch of people opted out, yeah, he's getting a call, and he's going to show up in Atlanta to take a couple of pitches and get up there and throw and give us 100-mile-an-hour heat. With Caitlin Clark, you have to recognize what she's brought to the table, the expansion of this league. You've added new franchises just since her showing up to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, as well as the chartered flights and everything else that gets pointed out. So, yeah, those superstar calls should come. And if she becomes a free throw merchant, as has been laid on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so be it. That's the way it works.
Now, and I'll throw this out there, too. Before you think, oh, Jason, is the league really going to not call fouls on Caitlin Clark because they're worried about the uproar? Let me take you back to a little thing called the Olympics from a year ago. Remember the Olympics when Caitlin Clark didn't get selected?
Yeah.
And the big reason that came out why they didn't take Caitlin Clark, what was the big reason we were told? Oh, right, because the team was kind of concerned what the fallout would be on social media from Caitlin Clark's fans if she didn't play a lot in the Olympics. So don't sit here and tell me that, oh, yeah, this is something that's completely out of bounds. This is that wanted to put that out there that, hey, we're worried about what her fans would say if she doesn't play a lot. Okay, so, yeah, you are worried about fallout for things. I'm telling you, I mean, at this point, they know Caitlin Clark, the Golden Goose, everything. Okay, at this point, say, okay, we got to start calling fouls when she gets hit like this. And it doesn't matter what the fallout is. It doesn't matter if players get mad. It doesn't matter. You got to officiate things the right way. And again, I'm not saying she got hurt tonight because of it. I'm just saying in general, because we wanted to talk about this coming into it, is that you saw her get really upset with officials tonight. I mean, again, I thought once she was going to get thrown out of the game. She's having a conversation with the official about a foul, and all of a sudden she just loses it. And if her teammate doesn't pull her back, like, I wonder if she gets thrown out of the game at that point. And then she wants the official, come over here, come talk to me. I want to call the league. Like, that's the thing, man.
But it's a long-standing building issue going back to last season where you don't feel that it's necessarily adjudicated properly. And you can't call every foul, you can't call every hit. But certainly when it becomes all right, there's one, and you just say pick one, right? How many times do you do that? You had that sequence that you're speaking of here where it's any number of reach-ins or body blows. It's like, all right, once we get to 4 and then you wait and to see if the shot doesn't fall. Come on, it's just ludicrous at this level. And now you're getting to the All-Star break, and that's going to be one of the big questions. Her availability, but also the state of officiating. You're expanding the pie and bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars more per franchise. Talk about the valuation of what the Valkyries are just after rising into the league, that you've got to realize you've got to protect your players. And Caitlin Clark being first and foremost.
Expanding pie.
Wow, we were watching a pizza ad.
So again, you think that's a hot take? Think that's controversial? I mean, really, you have to wonder, why are they not calling it unless they're worried about the fallout? Because the fallout would be big. So we're going to referee this way. Just think about it.